Man, I'm trying to get in a like comfortable position, so I keep moving this thing around. Man, my joints and shit. But there is got to be something up. I just saw the thing and it said 221, and I was thinking I've been up since 1222. So, so I got up at 1222, and it's just, I don't know, my days are just becoming so strange. And but it's just whatever, I just go with the flow. And but anyways, now it's about to be 222. I can't quit looking. And but the thing, there was like a couple things that, there was a bunch of things, but let me think of what I was saying. It drives me so crazy too how much I will be talking about something, and then I'll just forget together, because then I'll remember later, and it's like, oh yeah, I gotta finish that, and then I'll forget again. So okay, let me think back where I was. Okay, so I got up, and everything is weird. It's so freaking weird. Like, I feel so, like, I don't know. I was disconnected from my body, disconnected from this world. Like, just the awareness that I am just a thought. Like, I don't even know how to explain. Just, I swear things just get stranger and stranger to me. But, and I was sitting there thinking, like, how much I got to appreciate, like, today and tomorrow, because then there's going to be somebody around all the time. And, you know, I really appreciate my time to myself. Like, I mean, it's weird how much people think, like, you must be suffering because you're by yourself. It's like, no, it kind of is disruptive. Like, you are trying to talk to me about something because I'm deep in my own thought, which is an interesting thing too, is like before, when I very first started, you know, talking some of the stuff that I was talking about, and, you know, with the whole thing with attention deficit, and, you know, just the weird things about me when I was a kid, and how I could just be in two places at once. But then when I was back in the classroom, then all of a sudden I would be like, I had no idea what was going on in the classroom. And so then in my grades, and then I told you, like, my guides were telling me not to film. I swear to God, I think my parents probably thought I was just retarded. Like, they probably were even told by the school at some point. She's very sweet. She doesn't look like she has anything wrong, but she's definitely got something wrong. But because I was always this black sheep, but or not, you know, I mean, I was definitely the outcast. I was definitely the, you know, there's a lot of stuff I could go through where, you know, it's always been me who's just kind of been different, but then kind of shamed for being different. Like, you know, I was made fun of so much by my siblings. Anyways, they probably wouldn't even remember it, because that's how life is. You're going to remember certain things, but it's so crazy because the other people don't remember at all. But, you know, just so many different choices I would make. Like, oh my God, you have no logic. You just sit there and go because you think, like, you felt. Like, I would get all sorts of stuff. But anyways, so, you know, I said about how I would get called a daydreamer and stuff like that. That's what we would get called back then. And so I just saw this guy talking about the daydreamers. And he was saying that was something they were trying to get out of people. They didn't want them to do that because of that ability. Just like what I was talking about. You could leave the place, you could leave, you know, you could go in other worlds and have other experiences while, you know, your body is sitting there. And so that is one of the things they were trying to get out of people. And I just don't know how some of this stuff other than just my guides, but I just don't get why other people couldn't hear theirs as well. Like, I don't know. It is kind of like lock and key or something. Like, there is a certain point where people stop listening or something. Like, oh, one thing, because I wanted to talk more about that, but there's one thing that I gotta say before, because it's very exciting. So I saw this guy. He's one of the like doomsday people, like WHF or is it WEF and WHF, like just nonstop and all of the stuff. And like he doesn't see it, like he doesn't know anything about Nasara. He doesn't know anything about a lot of stuff. But this happens for a lot of people because they wake up and they just get stuck on the fear, so they don't, hear anything else. And I think some of them even think like some of us are just, oh, we're just hoping, especially ones who have been for a while, because then they're like, oh yeah, well, nothing's happened. It's like, yeah, but you can see it all going. Like, pay attention. You can see it all happening. It's all in motion. Just because it's not happening as fast as we want, you can still witness it's in motion. And so, but anyways, those people are stuck in fear. But what I saw him say this morning caught me, because he said that now the banks are under, he called it something. They are under some sort of, it's not a statute. It's some sort of limitation. A parameter was put on the banks. And they are told now they have to bring it in. They have to have every single bit of money, they say, they have to have it there in the in-house. And so that's it. That it will be it. This is going to be, I would assume that the White Hats or whatever had this set up in place, because everything has been so strategic, and it has been like everything is like this happens and then all of a sudden they're hit with this. That's what I said. That's like they're surrounded. They have nowhere to go. Everything that they try and do, they're going to hit into, because he outsmarted them. He put all this shit in place when he had that time. And they were trying to keep him wrapped up in court and stress and all that stuff. They didn't want him to get shit done. And he was on top of it, man. He got them cornered. And the reason is because how outspoken he has been. The stuff he has said. I mean, he has been calling them out before they did shit, 2 years before they even did shit. He was saying, okay, well, they're going to do this. They're going to do this. They're going to do this. And then they accommodated and they did what he said. And so now I think that with the banking thing, so, who knows how long that they can, stretch it out, but that's going to be a thing. And I don't know if it's going to be like being said on the news, because like I said, there's going to be these runs on banks because people are starting to panic, and people really, really think if they have their cash, that means they'll still have money. They don't understand how it works, like, at all. Like, there's going to be a big, hard lesson on finances and currency and all this stuff. Like, it's going to be a quick, crash for dummies. So it's going to, it's going to be an eye-opener. It's going to be an awakening for a lot of people to understand how their money it was all a manipulation. You weren't really working for what you thought you were working for. It was all, it was very streamlined, like controlled system where we're constantly putting in and getting minimal back. So now it is going to, because it's, it's going to crash and stuff. It's going to be good for us, but so many people, they are, they're going to be just totally panicked that, just like this guy, is like, we're going to go on the digital, just mark my words, what's coming and all this stuff. And to me, it's all part of the play on Nasara. And Charlie, I think his name is Charlie Ward. Charlie was talking about that in 2020 as they collapsed this system. He explained, like, I watched a lot of financial economists and money people back during 2020. Like, I stopped paying my bills and I thought it was about to go then. Like, I can't even believe how they've drug it out this far. But so that is really exciting now that they have to produce the whatever is backing up, whatever they say they have. Like, if they say, everyone in our bank combined has $250,000, then they have to have that there. They have to have something there. There's no more of this just a bunch of paper and a bunch of numbers on paper. So now it's going to be, they're going to have to show their junk, and it's going to be the end of it. The banks are not going to be able to do it. I don't know if this will be like a slow process where they'll take one and then another one, because it's already big ones like Bank of America and Wells Fargo, where you're seeing these nightmare situations going on about the money. So it's already bigger ones that might even be safer, and the smaller ones and the credit unions, I mean, they may be more have the stuff there, but I think the system set the whole thing up. So even when the credit unions came in to try and help people, the system came in and did some bait and switch stuff in there and got control. So I think that it's all going to collapse. I mean, it's all going to collapse, but this will be the start of, the relief from debt and stuff, which all of that goes together with the new quantum stuff, like the quantum medical, the quantum financial, all of that stuff. And that will go all together with the reparation. Like, I'm just hopeful, like, that this is like what I was saying yesterday and the day before, like, this is going to be the part where the banks go down, then it's going to be blamed on him. And there's already some weird stuff, I guess, with stuff with them on the main stage. And I think it has something to do with what's going on with trying to find the speaker. So I think that there's a lot of weird shit. Like, if the people who pay a lot of attention to the government and stuff and the political stuff, like, I think they have a lot they're talking about right now. I keep seeing them pop up and talking about certain people and certain things in the situation. So I think that, because we know the financial has to be blamed on him. That's going to bring him and that whole administration, and it's all to show, because they had to bring some of the worst ones in because it had the most veins to show everything that is so corrupt in the system. So all of that exposure that comes from like what one person can bring, especially somebody so rotten as some of these people are just so rotten. And so anyways, that was really exciting. I was really feeling hopeful, man. And there is so many just crazy stories, horrible things keep happening to people. Anyone who keeps trying to go out and have something to do with like the system at all, like Walmart, I would stay completely away from every Walmart. I would not go to one. There are so many places at this point that are just showing that they're just hiring criminals. They're just putting criminals out there to work. People who don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about other people. They don't give a fuck about anything except for themselves. And so that, and people are showing more and more what's inside of them. It's just so weird, as, they are being so, crystal clear what's inside of them, that they still don't see it. They still don't know. But when this thing turns to go the other direction, and like this morning yesterday I did 3 TikToks. So I did a couple in the morning early. I think, I don't think this early, but sometime in the morning time. And then later in the afternoon, I did one. And the one I think has got like 100 or 200 views or something like that. The other 2 have like 15. And then there was a couple I did the other day, and they're stuck at 23. Like, they will not let these videos be seen. And I know it is weird, because to me, it is kind of like these, I don't know, these Malcolm X kind of ones, like trying to empower people and telling them, and it's like they don't want people to be paying attention and feel empowered. You know what I mean? It's like they don't at all. And I just saw this woman in, I think she was in San Francisco area, and she was showing that she was at a Target and that all these shelves were empty. And she was like, this is so weird. And so she said that, I can't even remember what she was, thinking. And then, so to the Target people, she asked them, or she heard them talking or something, and they were all like, had no idea. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know where their stock was. They were all like running around kind of panicking because there was so much empty stuff. But the interesting thing about that is that it happened over by Buffalo right before the storm too. I saw people talking about that. They were talking about after, because so many people were attacking them about not being prepared or something. And they said that they did that. They did something about when the people went out to the stores were empty. Then they went home, like people were trying to just get stuff. And then they go home, and then all of a sudden this snowstorm came out of nowhere. And so then nobody could go do anything or get out and get more stuff. And then all of a sudden the other one came that did all of that stuff. So it was kind of like they had people kind of isolated and trapped, like a pre-show to the big show, which they kind of, if you follow that format, is exactly what they did over in Buffalo, because there was people talking about like we couldn't get stuff for a couple weeks. We were already they were already down without their stuff, and then the people that were trying to go to stores and things that weren't there. And then, they start thinking, well, I guess everybody's panicking and coming and buying it all. But it wasn't. It was like they set it up so people would be shortaged. And, it could be even some people were just panicking and on edge, in the whole thing, because then they're putting out that energy, which makes the whole situation even worse, because they're working on other levels besides just the one that the people in this environment are working on. And so, I don't know. When I saw that woman showing that there, and I had seen those people talking about it over there, I was like, fuck, man. I think that they are coming in and, right before a storm happens, clearing shelves out. And I've seen other people sharing all these videos with so much food being thrown away. Oh my God. You have got all these people out here hungry, and you're just throwing food away. That is so fucking... This corporate world is so fucking sick. And I do not understand at all how people can fucking listen to them and follow their strategy and think it makes sense. Like, it is absolutely the most absurd shit these fucking people try and sell these people on. And one thing that I have really, really has, it's been brought to my attention so many times, but then again today, and I don't even remember in the circumstance that it was shown to me, but it was, there's just so many people that are followers. They aren't, and it's not like sheep. I think it was, last night before I went to bed, it was the same thing. This keeps happening. I turn on some kind of show, and then I want to lay down on the couch because my legs are hurting, and so then I fall asleep. And it's because I was sitting in the chair falling asleep, and then I went and laid on the couch, so I was already falling asleep. So it could have been like 4:30. I have no idea, but I had turned on this old movie, and in this movie, these people were like so brutal, and I don't know the whole story. I gotta go back and watch this. Something about monkey not monkey paw, but monkey, I don't know. It's a really old movie. And so then they have this part where this girl starts doing all of this horrible stuff to this other girl, and then this guy starts preparing his, taking his clothes. It's this whole thing, and all these people standing around kind of cheering and just, or watching or not really reacting and not really doing something. And earlier in the day, I had seen somebody talking about, it was a study they did. I can't remember what it was called, but they did like a test on people, and they would tell them that they had to do this, this like electrocution. And I've seen the test, and I can't remember. I think they could hear the people screaming. And so there's people on the other side, and they are the ones being electrocuted. And the person on the other side is the one giving the charge. And so there keeps being this screaming, and the person keeps doing it. And then the person who's in charge of the study keeps telling them to increase it, give them more, give them more, give them more. And the person screaming. And so the whole thing is that, the people would follow orders even to the point of murder, that they would do what they were told if somebody seemed like they had authority. And, it was really, being shown to me like about the followers. And then when I was watching that movie, and it was just like watching and seeing how it's almost like some of the people, like where they call them NPCs or something, it's almost like they're observing, but it is not of the same observation as if you connect to your higher self. There's an observation that I'm in now that is, it is a detached, but they're detached in another way. And so because it's a detaching where everything makes sense, but to me, those other people, their detachment is kind of like this antisocial behavior of like they're not really sure, they don't really have any definition to self, and so they are trying to understand or figure themselves out, which I've said before, something about this planet is like an opportunity for souls to come in and do that. And so to try and but that is a part of all things in life, but it's not the only thing in life. So here, though, there seems to be a whole thing about that, about the observing, about the higher self watching itself, about playing in these different roles, and in this observation of self. And but some of them, like in the, this frenzy of these people, not stopping this person who, one person is screaming and needing help. And like you just sit and watch this person do all this stuff to this person. I mean, it has been like, it is in a movie, but this stuff has really happened. Like that was one of the things in, what was that one case? There's been a bunch of cases, but that one case where that woman, she had taken, I think that their mom had died and they were just left with their dad. It could have been they still had both parents, but whatever, it was poverty. And I think it was like around the Depression or right after the Depression. And there was a lot of people who would take in people's kids so that they could go be homeless or go try and find work or whatever. So there were people who would take in these people's kids, and then and this could have been in the 50s or 60s, might not have been during the Depression, but there's been so many times where people have struggled financially. But anyways, it was during this time when people would take in people's kids, and these people took in these two girls. This lady took in these two girls, and the parents were like, or just the dad, I don't remember, but they were like circus workers or something. And then he would pay this person money, so they would, let this person and these kids have a room at their house if these people paid money. And then when the money would run out, this was even in Shirley Temple movies, I swear, when the movie was, when the people would stop sending money, maybe they detached from their kids, maybe they died, anything could happen. And then the people didn't take care of the kids. They would turn them into slaves or sell them or all sorts of stuff. And that comes from within. That's what I keep trying to say. This is also, you can see what's inside of you. And but that lady, when they stopped paying, she had become really abusive with these two girls. And one of them she had a serious problem with. And I think she kept her tied down in the basement. And the thing is when she would go down there and she'd abuse this girl, like horribly, horribly abuse this girl. Like there's been a couple of movies about it, I think. I think there's been a documentary that was really horrible. This woman was like so horrible, but she did it all in front of like all the neighborhood kids would sit and watch, like this girl's own sister. So, there's something that happens, and I don't know if people get lost in themselves or something. Like I said, when I get pushed, I become a fight. The fight or flight, I become fight. And I don't become flight. And I don't know if it is, it could be something with our different DNAs and different brains or something. I'm not sure. But, some people just become like so passive, even to the point of watching someone murder somebody. And even to the point where they're going to sit there and do it and then probably blame, well, they told me to do it. What was I supposed to do? Think for yourself. Try that. Because in that study, 3/4 of the population would almost kill somebody because somebody told them to do it, and they just blindly follow. And so, I was just really seeing that is, a big problem in our society, is that people don't feel confident in themselves enough to follow themselves. You will be called crazy. You will be, if you are going against the grain of what is accepted and you're saying things outside of the narrative and you're looking at things outside of the box, then yeah, people are going to think you're weird and they're going to think you're crazy. And you have to just accept yourself and know, like, man, you see things that other people don't see. They can't see everything that you see. So they are more trapped. It is so much like this level of consciousness. It's like this fade in and out. It is like the like that same thing when I talk about the hands going across. It's like that same kind of thing. If you get what I'm saying. That was one of the things too that I said yesterday, because there was something that I was giving some sort of example, and then I was like, oh, maybe I didn't explain it right. But I don't know. I guess sometimes you either you see it or you don't see it. Like it's about resonance and vibration, I think, is what and how we can understand each other. And there's so much that we try and force understanding, force others to understand us, try and even at this point of this developed language. And there is no even understanding when you're using the words, because there's something more to communication. It's an understanding, it's a perception. And so like you could go into a room with 100 people and say the same thing, and everybody's going to get something different from what you say. There could be, like 3/4 of the population all kind of got the same thing. But it is very strange how often, that it is almost like, I think that, we can finish each other's sentences, but it's finishing them with a narrative. Like it's already put in place how we're going to think. And there is so much more about being present and open and opening communication, not being closed and not thinking that we've already got the equation solved. We have to go into it a lot more open-minded and, willing to see more. And I saw where there's more stuff, there's going to be more stuff with the schooling thing, like, and I don't know, I just saw this thing with Dr. Phil. I didn't finish watching it. It was Dr. Phil on Joe Rogan, and talking about, kids don't know how to read, but it seemed like they were trying to push, for more people to send their kids. Kids get better educations at home. Yeah, I mean, going to a school is like, I can see why kids want to go, because, I mean, they want to socialize. They want to be around other kids. They want to talk to kids about kid stuff. They want to, be around people that have the same view of life as they do. And but that is where we have to build up more community centers, learning centers, places where kids can go that are more like wholesome or optimistic or healthy or whatever. Like they could go learn, things that are, to me, more mind, body, spirit. Like, you do some physical stuff, like they could have some basketball hoops and stuff like that, but they should also do like karate, jiu-jitsu, judo, or no, is it called judo? Is that what it's called? One of the, what I'm talking about, the Eastern art kind of, it's a different thing about learning about your body. And with yoga, like they should be teaching kids about that. They should have all sorts of creativity things open and available for kids. I mean, you could even have rooms where older kids were reading to younger kids, or letting younger kids read to them. I think there's so much more that we can do as a community than rely on the government for our education, especially when the government has such a strong agenda. And the government, even when they didn't have a strong agenda, they've sold out to the corporation. Like, now it's, what's best for the corporation, which is nothing about us. So, I mean, it's going to be such a fucking blessing when this switches over. Like, it's just so crazy how, like, it's going to have so many people who are going to be in such a panic and stuff. But I swear it should lead right into, like, med beds and all of that stuff. Like, once things start disclosing and moving in a certain direction, it should start moving a lot faster. So, and there will be some sort of abrupt change, which is a weird thing too, is how my phone has been glitching. And for, I don't know, I would think weeks for sure. I would think probably months. I don't even remember when I got my fucking phone. But it has, my home screen and my lock screen won't stay on. Just my phone is just black all the time, just black. And even if I turn my phone off and let it reset, it will only last a little while. And it's weird because it almost like eats the images. It's really creepy how it does it. And then it will just go away, and then it'll just be gone. Well, all of a sudden, I think it was today, it could have been yesterday or last night, that all of a sudden they came back on by themselves, and they're just there. They haven't gone back off yet. I was like, that is so strange. What in the glitch is going on with my freaking phone? But, I don't know. I mean, yesterday my TV, like, there was, it was totally glitching. It was like, get stuck. It was going, like, it would get stuck, and then something would keep going, and then it would catch back up. It was weird. It was doing all sorts of weird stuff. So, and that could very well be from this, these coronal blasts or whatever that's coming out of the sun. And there was a lot of people showing that how much they sprayed, right when these solar flares were going to be coming in, and they sprayed. This person, it seemed like they thought the government was kind of trying to protect them from the solar flares. But the solar flares are the energy coming in to help people, to get people to grow and expand. So I think what they're doing is trying to block that. And there's somebody even showing today, and I think it was Missouri, they were spraying something blue. so it's mental. There was something else that I had thought of when I was saying that. Spraying this something blue. Dang it. Can't remember. I was going to, I think I was going to talk something about with confidence and stuff. Man, sometimes I'm telling you, I get so lost in conversation in that with them, and I'm having this weird thing where sometimes I can't, it's like I can't tell the difference. Like sometimes I think I'm having a conversation with them and that it's more like here, but then sometimes it's more like I'm there. And when I'm there, it's hard to pull the information back into here. And so I'll be talking about this stuff and they'll be showing me something, and then I'll think, oh, okay, well, I can talk about that. But then all of a sudden, when it's like, it's far away, and it's like, oh man, how did I just was talking about that. How am I not? It's weird. It's so weird how that goes. And I don't know if you haven't had that experience, and I don't know how to explain it, but there's a difference between, like, if I'm just sitting here and they tell me something in my head, then when I'm sitting here a lot of times by myself and I get in like a deep conversation with them, and I'll feel like it is like happening right here, but instead it's like I'm in this deep kind of meditation. And then when I come out of that, then to me, it's kind of like, maybe it's like being in a trance or something. And then you come out of it, so you're talking to them and you've got it like, oh, okay, yeah. But then you come out of it, it's like coming out of a dream, and then you got to try and remember. But I completely have the awareness of the whole thing and I can see it, but it's like way out there. And then it is harder to pull forward. But there was some stuff that, because they were showing me some more stuff about with the people, and the stuff with about the people being misled and stuff, but they were showing me more on a deeper level, like what's going on with the people. And so there's that's where I was seeing the whole thing about like they just don't have any confidence or like a belief in themselves, that they're always looking for someone to show them or guide them or help them to identify themselves. Like there's this whole and it all comes from like this lack of confidence and believing in yourself. And it's really seems like some really, really strong all the time, as how much they push on. It's so important to believe in yourself, to trust yourself. That is your reality. Like, you are your reality. And so when you are not trusting yourself, not believing in yourself, then you're giving up who you are, because you aren't living up to your true potential. So then there's a lack. There's something you need to learn. There's something you need to understand. And so, it has so much to do with this process. But there is, when I just see so many people too on TikTok and stuff, and just how so many people all look at certain things like the same. And man, this is going to be so eye-opening, some of this stuff on such a huge level for so many people. One of the things with the Walmart, because I don't know if I had finished saying that, because this one Walmart, this woman was very upset about this, because she went to just go get her oil changed or something, or something with her tire oil or something real basic. I think it was an oil change. And she had some stuff or something. I'm not sure what her stuff was, but she locked it up in her console. And so then she went and gave the keys to the guy, and then she left. And Came back, got her keys, went and got her car, and all of her stuff was stolen. So she went back in and she said all her stuff was stolen, and they were like, oh, sorry. And then so she asked to speak to a manager, and the manager was so snippy and so rude to her. And this woman, I guess, was in charge in retail for criminal, for all that whole thing. I think she called it OP. Operation, I don't know. She was in charge of that for a big business, a big store. And so when she was being treated like this from this store, she had reference because of how she's had to deal with things. And that the manager lady was just like, could care less. It's not their problem. It's, and the woman even said, well, I'll go on social media. And she's like, I don't care. Like, they don't care. The people who are out there working don't care. And there's so many criminals out there just stealing people's stuff, right? Yes, they had to go and open her thing and look for her stuff. Like, they, how much time did they spend working on her car, and how much time did they spend digging around looking for something to steal? And whatever they stole had value. She was very upset, like whatever it was. So I don't know if she'd been out shopping and put something, like, I don't know. But she was not happy about it at all. She couldn't even believe it. But that is what, I keep trying to, as long as this is all being exposed, it's going to just keep being stuff like that. It's everything in this world is just very, very toxic. What's weird too is lately when I have been eating, food tastes so good. It is so weird. Even when I'm sitting there, and I'll, like yesterday I made some Brussels sprouts, and even when I'm doing the whole thing, I'm just like, all the different food, the potatoes, you can tell, the lettuce, everything has a different texture. And you can just tell everything's fucking fake, plastic, GMO, whatever the fuck. And so when I was making those Brussels sprouts, I was even thinking, like, man, this is also fucking fake. I've been making a whole bunch of stuff, but when I made them and I put this, melted some butter and put lemon juice in it, and then put that over. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And I just keep having food where I'm just like, oh my God, this is the best tasting thing I've ever had in my life. Even just drinking a glass of orange juice, it's like, what is going on? Like, everything tastes so good. And I won't say everything smells so good, because I'm getting all sorts of weird smells still. I'm still getting all sorts of weird flashes from being younger or something. I'm not even sure. It's really weird. It's like somebody just keeps shuffling me or something. But, I was thinking about the ascension symptoms thing. That's I think one of the things I was talking about yesterday was the with the ascension symptoms, because back when people were talking about it back then, I swear to God, it was more like dizziness, or if you were super hungry, or you weren't hungry at all, or you were having problems sleeping, stuff like that. And now all of a sudden it's like every, sickness, like if you've got any sickness, then it's all related to ascension symptoms, which, I don't know what each person is going through. As far as I'm concerned, we are being under such an attack right now with the chemicals. Like, my throat is killing me. I cannot quit sneezing. My nose is so full up in here, and still coughing and headache and stuff like that. And this morning when I let her out and I looked out, there's something weird. I don't know what it is. Like, it's been there for a couple days, where you would think like it was ice or something, but it should have melted. So it's not some sort of, I don't know, one of their foreign materials of poison that's sitting outside or some bullshit. So, I don't know. I mean, back, I was like 2017 or 2018, because we were already talking about the awakening But it wasn't called the awakening. It was called, we just kept saying, you woke up. If you woke up, you woke up to this, or you woke up to that, and then they took that and turned woke into something else. Then it started being the Great Awakening. But it was already before that. It was, we were talking about ascension and the event and all that stuff. Like Allison Coe, like she hasn't even been doing her recordings, I swear to God, for 2 years. Like all this stuff was already going on, where we were talking about ascension, we were talking about ascension symptoms, we were talking about energy, we were talking about healing, we were talking about the aliens coming, all of that stuff. Everything, like, I mean, I don't know. It seems like those of us who know the supernatural is weird, or the supernatural is real, that we just have different conversations when we talk to each other. Like, I don't know how to explain that. But then to me, it was like that. It was in 2020 is when I started seeing the world through a different lens, because that's when I started seeing like all of this bullshit that they were doing that was so weird to me was all being done on purpose. That is when, that was a big eye-opener for me. But, like there's so many people who are just awakening to spirituality. They're just waking up to ascension. They're just waking up to the planet. They're just waking up to the lies. Like, there's just so much. But, I don't know. I think that when people just sit there and say, oh, it's ascension symptoms, it's like disregard your mind, body, spirit connection. You should, 100%, when you're connecting to your spirit, you need to be aware of what's going on with your body. Like, I will sit with myself, pay attention, like, what is this? What does this feel like? And the electrical shocks, I don't know what else to even explain it. I'll sit and try and think, like, what is this? What is this feeling? And I don't know some of these feelings, how to even explain them. But to me, you've got to tune in to your body and see what is your body going through. What does your body need? And, I don't know. To me, it's like disregarding. Oh, it's ascension symptoms. Oh, love and light. Everything in this place is so shallow, and people are so scared to go any deeper. It's like they got to keep up at the shallows thing, keep their eyes on everybody, see if they're being judged, or, how people are looking at them, when our society starts, changing its physical body, going in and getting surgery to try and change it to look like somebody else, like, to me, like, man, our society has really got some issues. Oh my gosh, I can't even. But it is, it's all this micro, macro. But the people they want to stay safe. They don't want to stand out. They don't want to be pointed at or laughed at. They don't want anybody to think they're weird. But, that's a lot of stuff to learn from that situation. It's, all this stuff, there's just, it's all hard stuff. It's all big lessons that are going on here. And everybody has their own. And that, that's another thing that makes it hard to share, because everybody's is very distinctly designed for their own, their own journey, their own soul's destination. So, nobody's stuff is exactly the same. Like, I'm really curious about some of my stuff, like, especially like right now, where it is like they're holding me back so much. Like, even there for a couple months, they were letting my followers go up on YouTube, even though they'd go back in and take them. They can't take too many at one time during the night, because then it would be so obvious, because they've never let it grow very much. But the way that they have been lately, taking away followers every night, and then I don't get notifications. I got a notification the other day that somebody had said something. It was what Ray had said, and then it came in my email, and so then I went into YouTube. YouTube won't show it at all. It's not showing in my notifications. When I go into the actual place where the comment was, no, it won't come up. There's no comment. So, I don't know. And I don't know how often somebody says something to me and I don't even see it, because I know I don't get all the notifications. Like I've got like 400 notifications, and, I should have had way more than that, because you get notified every time somebody starts following you. So, and for how many they take away, then it goes back up, it goes back and forth, back and forth. So, it should be more notifications, no. So if anybody says something to me and I don't say anything, I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't see it. The only way I even saw Ray's is because it was short and I could see it on the email. But even you try and open that, it won't. So, I don't know all the manipulations. Very frustrating to be on this side of it. And go in on my TikTok and see, 15 people on one and 18 people on another. Then, those other ones, 23 people. I've got so many when you go through them. Like how they hold. And even, people who have 20 followers get 400 views. I can't get over, that many views, and I got 20, and they're holding back my following. Like they don't let my following go up. They let it go up for a while, and then they just stopped. And so, but I don't know, all these restrictions. But to me, what is just so wacky is when I see someone else talk about something that I'm talking about, and everybody wants to talk about it, like, million people. But then I have to keep sitting back here, not being heard. That is weird. It's so weird, So anyways, I'm curious to see how some of this stuff is going to play out, and, what's to come. Because I think there's going to be some really big, abrupt changes. They're going to go in other directions, and I don't know. I guess I'm waiting to see if I'm one of them. So anyways, stay strong. It really was important for us to start getting prepared. Like people trying to get prepared right now is going to be a lot harder, because when they're coming in to hit a place, I really think that they are limiting resources. Like there's not tons and tons of generators. Like people in Buffalo were going out and there was nothing. Like they couldn't find anything to prepare. And so I'm guessing they're probably doing the same thing in San Francisco. That would have started getting hit last night sometime. We still have power, so I just don't know where all the grid, how it all lines up. I had seen some videos where they said Washington State over December had lost power grid a couple times, and it's like, I haven't had that, but you just don't know when it's going to go. And then once it goes, then, it's going to stay down maybe for weeks. Who knows? Who knows what's going to go on? I don't know. Yeah, they could start trying to do that just because of the bank thing, now that they have to, show what they have. And I don't know how that's all going to go. Before we used to have the 3-letter agencies were on the side of the dark. So, I don't know. I would assume there's enough rest made on those people that they're, so will it be the United States Marshal? Would it be the NSA? Well, do we have a Space Force now that is going to go in and, or maybe go into banks and start arresting people? Like, I don't know. This is very curious. And then, the news isn't going to be showing all this stuff. Like, you have to be catching certain footage of somebody who was there, who saw it. I swear it's the only way to see anything. And the news doesn't show shit. So, You know, I've seen some crazy footage too of all sorts of, I don't know if they're arrests or something. I saw one the other day, and this person said it was a shooting, but oh my God, how many police were there? It was like the whole fucking state force was there. Like, that is weird. Like, I didn't even know that many police were working at one time. So, you know, I don't know. To me, things are just going to keep getting weirder and weirder. I think that you need to be aware of the poisons and be taking care of yourself, not just sitting back saying, oh, well, we're just ascending. Don't worry about a fucking thing. No, you have to worry about a lot of stuff because you have to be working on yourself. You have to process. You have to process the experience that you're going through. That's why you're here, is to grow from the experience, to learn from the experience. So I don't know. So these people are just like, you know, trying to stay hidden from it and shaming people. Like, you're giving energy to the negative. It's like the negative is exposing itself. It's revealing itself. Like, I'm gonna notice. hopefully I'm not just so, you know, hardened that I don't even notice. That's what it starts seeming like. Some of these people are so hardened by evil that they don't even notice the fucking evil is purging out all around them. It's just like, oh, it's just another day in hell. So anyways, sometimes I swear I completely understand anybody who would say like, oh man, that poor Kelly, she's a crazy one, all right. You know, I get that I talk different and I understand things different and I see things different than other people. I just don't think that there's anything wrong with that anymore. Like, I used to think, you know, something was, you know, I couldn't understand. I just couldn't understand. Especially because, you know, they're talking to me. And if they were going to be telling me something else, they would be telling me something else. When they're telling me something, you know, I just got to believe them. So, anyways, I know I'm not crazy, but I know I sound crazy a lot of times. So, anyways, you know, don't be ashamed. If you sound crazy, you know, there has to be leaders, and all the leaders are going to sound crazy. That's what I think, because this world is very controlled, and that's the way they want to keep it. And all of the control people are willing to accept. So as you break free from control and become independent, become yourself, then, you know, people are going to think you're weird. People are going to think you're crazy. But, you know, you got to just walk to your own drummer or whatever that is. Walk to your own beat. Don't let other people's lack interfere with your greatness. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.